My husband refused to take me to the hospital during labor, choosing lunch with his family instead. What should I do? I'm Selena, 30F, a new mother to Eddie M, who is only a few days old. I wish I could say that my family is happy right now, but they aren't. Everyone around me is pointing the finger at me because I am now going through a divorce. I understand that being a single mother is difficult, but I would stop at nothing to rescue my son from the poisonous atmosphere he would have been in had I not left that marriage. I need some frank feedback because I've made some terrible blunders. Since high school, Robert and I have been dating, and he has been kind to me. He planned dates, got me flowers, took me to get my nails done, and did all the other romantic things that girls like. His mother and sister were the only things he valued more than me, and I never objected to that. I suppose I interpreted it as a positive sign. I actually thought, oh well, he treats the women in his life so well, he is a real gentleman. If I ever get to marry him and become his wife, he will probably treat me even better. I can't even begin to explain how mistaken I was. The hunt ended the moment I married him. The taken for granted phase was the next stage. You don't realize emotional abuse all at once. You realize it over time. When you truly love that man, it's also quite hard to leave something like that. Now that I think about it, I should have recognized that Robert was incapable of setting limits or setting priorities, but love blinds you. Both my mother-in-law, Mill, and sister-in-law, Sil, wore long trains of white and were maid of honor at my wedding. Robert stated it didn't really matter and that I was ruining our special day by being sulky when I brought up the fact that the bridesmaids and maid of honor were expected to wear pink. I should just concentrate on something else instead. But that was not all. They were in every photo, even interfering with the couple's candid shots. My husband said, "The kiddo is just having fun, let her be," in response to the photographer's request that my Sil stop since he was becoming tired. With her in the frame, I'm confident the photos would look better. My Sil is not a child. Next year, she will tie the knot at the age of 25. That day, I felt so ashamed that I came to the realization that I had been mistaken about Robert all along. I was already Robert's wife, though, so it was too late. The one bright spot was that we were able to move in after our wedding because my cousin and his wife had given us a house as a wedding present. Although we didn't spend much time with my in-laws, Robert never stayed at home with me and instead visited them every weekend. He said that we would go on the vacation after his sister was married so that his sister and prospective brother-in-law could accompany us when I pointed out that we didn't even go on a honeymoon trip. It's important to note in this regard that his sister was unemployed and his future brother-in-law was a freeloader. She laughed it off when I tried to explain that marriage entails a lot of financial responsibility and that her brother would handle all of her financial obligations. I didn't bring up the topic again since I knew there wasn't much I could do about it without Robert's assistance, which he didn't provide. Yes, the warning signs were begging to be noticed, but I believed I could save our marriage. I have no idea why I chose to play Bob the Builder, but there I was, attempting to gain his favor by gaining the favor of his family. I chose to accompany Robert after realizing that he would not spend a single weekend with me. His mother and sister were not happy to see him the one and only time I visited. Even more unexpected was the presence of my sister-in-law, Sarah, 26F, and her freeloading fiancé, Dylan, 26M. In essence, I was the only one who was never invited to participate. I explained that I had come to surprise them and that I had brought a cake with me. As though Sarah had told the greatest joke in the world, they all chuckled when my sister-in-law added, "A nasty surprise, I see." Beatrice, 56F, Robert's mother, stated that they didn't have enough food for me because they didn't expect strangers because this was family time. Since I was his wife, I expected Robert to remark something about how much more of a part of the family I am than Dylan, but instead he was staring out the window and was totally absorbed in his thoughts, or at least acting that way. Robert gave me the car keys stoically after I informed him I would drive home. His mother waved goodbye with a smile and advised me not to act like a jealous child and bother Robert in that way. I cried all the way home and left without saying anything because I was so embarrassed. The following day, Robert took me out to dinner at my favorite continental restaurant after returning home that day with flowers and chocolates. Therefore, he was aware of the abhorrent treatment, he simply decided not to confront it. Robert treated me like a queen for the entire week that followed, until the following weekend, at which point he left for his contented family. Until the following weekend, he would return and overcompensate. After a few months of marriage, this occurred, and even the preferential treatment ceased. Dismissal took its place. He would blame me of not understanding his responsibilities to his family and say that I should be accustomed to his Saturday breakfast with his family by now if I ever mentioned how lonely I felt on the weekends and wanted to spend time with him. He frequently accused me of exaggerating. I told my mother about my extreme dissatisfaction. According to Mom, if we had a child, Robert might be more involved and at home and I might not feel as alone. I reprimanded her and told her that having a child would be a very selfish motive, but she managed to get the notion into my head, and I continued to consider it. I might have to drop the child off at my mom's before I left for work because we would both be working parents, but on the weekends, I would be able to spend a lot of time with the child. Wouldn't the baby's father want the same thing? I asked my husband whether he thought we were ready to become parents as I gradually developed a kind of baby fever. He was ecstatic and said that his mother had even hinted at this. He shrugged and stated that his mother was growing old and ready to be a grandma when I asked him why she wanted us to have a child. Therefore, it would be beneficial to have a young man who could look after her. I informed him that I didn't believe he was ready to be a father and that he couldn't use our child to care for his mother. The baby conversation was out of the question after our argument. I'm not sure what changed, but all of a sudden Robert began spending his weekends at home. He resumed his pre-marriage treatment of me, even purchasing tickets to the Maldives for our much-postponed honeymoon. During our week-long honeymoon in the Maldives, Robert made me feel incredibly unique and adored. He claimed he wanted to make amends for hurting my feelings. I fell straight into his trap, foolish as I was. We found out I was pregnant after returning from our vacation. It delighted Robert. Robert persuaded me that we were prepared to become parents, despite my reservations. During the first 3 months of my pregnancy, he took exceptional care of me, taking me to the doctor, making sure I took my vitamins, staying at home on the weekends, ordering all the food I wanted, and shopping for our unborn child. Things returned to their pre-vacation state in the 4th month. He had gotten me pregnant and ensured that I would do all in my power to avoid having the baby. That was the act's entire purpose. I was really depressed in the weeks before my labor. My mom came over to look after me, but she always blamed Robert's actions on his wealth, which was all that mattered to her. The 3rd week of December was my due date. Mom attended her brother's funeral 2 weeks prior to my birth. I was unable to attend my uncle's funeral because the due date was so near. I pleaded with my hubby to spend the weekend at home. My uncle's passing made me sad and lonely. I didn't want to be at home by myself on that particular day. I stated this to my husband and he responded, "Sel, you are going to be a mother and make a lot of sacrifices in the future, so being alone for a day is nothing compared to the sacrifices that you have to make. I will suggest that you better sleep it off. I will see you tonight. Don't wait up for me. I will have dinner with them. Bye, honey, take care. Remember you have to take care of yourself for our little Eddie." He took the car keys and drove off without even waiting for my answer. That particular day, I was feeling very ill, so I went to lie down and dozed off for almost an hour. I woke up with excruciating cramping. I was horrified to discover that my water had burst when I noticed that the bed was damp. I contacted my spouse right away. Before answering, he hung up the phone twice. His voice was absolutely irritated. When I heard my water break, I actually screamed. He said, "So why are you wasting time calling me? Call the hospital or something." I don't know, man. Gosh, you are a grown woman. Pull yourself together and face the situation. I am literally between brunch with everybody. Even Dylan's parents are here. Stop calling me. The line died. After staring at the phone I was holding, I went outside onto the street. I couldn't even drive myself to the hospital since Robert had stolen the car. A man stopped when I flagged down a car. He held the door open for me in a hurry. I was taken to the hospital in a hurry. Mr. Singh, the gentleman, completed all the papers and asked if I wanted him to make a phone call. He came and informed me that no one was answering after I gave him my husband's phone. In that instant, a stranger named Mr. Singh stood up. Eddie was the only person who came to see me after I gave birth. He brought me chicken wings, bananas, and baby outfits. I started to cry. Since my uncle was unable to be present in person, I had the impression that his spirit had sent this man. Mr. Singh gave me a pat on the hand and congratulated me. He muttered a prayer for Eddie after I handed him over to him. I reminded him of his daughter, he said, and I should call him if I ever needed anything. I got his card from him. I noticed that he practiced divorce law. I believed that all of the signals were coming from my guardian angel. I told Mr. Singh without hesitation that I was looking for a place to stay. I desired a home of my own. He offered to transfer me into his penthouse, saying I wouldn't have to worry about the rent until I started working. He turned back before leaving, saying, "By the way, you can call me uncle." That evening, my hubby called in the interim. I didn't answer, but I did see it ring. I requested the nurses not to tell my husband that I was there in case he called since I didn't want him to know. They concurred. My spouse texted me to inquire which hospital I was at. I didn't respond. I was questioned by the nurses if they ought to contact social services. I requested that they refrain. The physicians and nurses were incredibly understanding and nice. My mother would undoubtedly tell Robert where I was, so I didn't even answer her phone. When Uncle Singh arrived the following day, he informed me that everything was prepared for my move-in. Since his daughter used to live there, he claimed there wasn't much to prepare anyhow. It was not long ago that she left the nation to work somewhere in Germany. He claimed that because he missed his daughter so much, it would be pleasant to have someone live in her apartment. His wife was equally excited to meet me, he informed me. I was driven to their tidy and lovely apartment by Uncle Singh. Auntie quickly began discussing ways to make things comfortable for me, even though she was overweight. I kept telling them that all I wanted was to stay there, but they kept asking if I wanted anything. After telling them all that had transpired, I requested that my uncle initiate the divorce process. I replied that I had never believed in anything more when he questioned whether I was certain about it. I was instructed by my uncle to text my spouse about the birth of my son. So I sent Robert an SMS about it. He informed me that I had been really irresponsible and that we needed to go meet his family right now with Eddie. He had the audacity to believe that I would take my son to meet his toxic family, I told him. After a period of silence, he continued. Don't be a kid. We have to take Eddie to his godmother. When I questioned him who made the decision to name Robert's sister as the godmother, he told me to stop being funny since that was how it was always meant to be. I lost my composure and began to scream, You know what's ridiculous? It's you. You are the damn joker. I had to take a lift to the damn hospital and give birth alone. If you loved me and your son, you would have rushed to us. You are so damn selfish, and your family is crazy. You are not going to be a part of my son's life. You will hear from my lawyer soon. I am divorcing you. When I hung up, I was furious. Auntie seemed somewhat worried. She said that my spouse was a child and not a man when I hung up. For the first time in a long time, I laughed. When my mother called, she went on and on about how awful I was and how Robert had called to let her know what had happened. She informed me that because I had taken my son away from them, their family was pursuing charges. It seems that I am a self-centered mother who only cares about herself, so I should be hauled to court and have my son taken away from me. They claimed that I was unfit to be a mother because of my depression. I informed my mother that I didn't care about their opinions since I was confident I would win the case and be granted sole custody of my son. I ended the call and made the decision not to answer any more calls from my relatives. In order to augment my income, I began applying for freelance jobs. Even though I had a job already, I needed more if I wanted to provide for my son comfortably. My phone began buzzing nonstop with texts all of a sudden. Dylan's entire family and my in-laws were sending me hateful texts. They were calling me a villain in derogatory terms since I had destroyed their family. The only thing that is saving you right now is the fact that you don't know your address. Otherwise, we would totally come over and teach you a lesson, you stupid cuss words, they said, threatening to break into my house and take my son by force. Auntie grabbed the phone out of my hand as I was shivering from reading these texts and said, You're going to eat and get some rest. I will look after Eddie till you wake up. You are not going to check your phone and not stress. Your uncle will take care of everything. When you wake up, your uncle will take you to the police station to lodge a complaint. We need to file a restraining order. I really wanted to vent, and I figured that putting it in writing would help me gather my thoughts. This was written in the bathtub during a lengthy soak. I'm going to bed shortly. The question of whether I made the right decision in preventing Robert from meeting Eddie, however, has been the one that has been plaguing me the most. Will this have an impact on his child's brain? I'm not sure whether Robert's presence would have had a negative impact on him because I don't think he is a good role model in any way. Update 1. Despite my reluctance to acknowledge it, I have been reading your comments and you are correct. Both divorce and the loss of a parent will inevitably affect Eddie in some way. Simply said, I'm happy Uncle and Auntie Singh will show the baby the affection he needs. Yesterday, I spoke with Uncle's daughter. She works as a scientist. I was explaining the situation that led me to her apartment to her. She concluded by saying that God orchestrated the gathering. She was quite concerned about her parents, but for the first time in a long time, she saw her mother truly happy now that I was there. Don't worry about the rent yet, she said. To my astonishment, she returned my gratitude after I did. I feel so fortunate that I cannot express it to you all. Eddie will look up to Uncle Singh as a positive male role model. I've given it a lot of thought, and I believe I will be as honest as possible in my responses to Eddie's challenging questions. I'll make an effort to teach him how to be a man rather than a pet of his mother. We'll have to wait and see, I suppose. Update 2, let's get to the update. Uncle and I went to file the restraining order after I woke up from my nap. I can state with confidence that Eddie is in good hands because Auntie has been taking excellent care of him. Since the restraining order was filed, there has been a lot of calm, but I think I caught a glimpse of Dylan today as I headed to work. I'm not sure if this is just a hallucination or what. I'm not sure. I might have paranoia. I don't want to cause Uncle or Auntie any unnecessary anxiety, therefore I haven't told them about this. Technically, there is nothing preventing Dylan from attempting to get in touch with me because the restraining order has been filed against Robert's family. I don't want them to learn my residence. I'll keep you all informed. Update 3. Hello everyone, my penthouse was egged last night. I was by myself. Auntie and Uncle had gone home for the night. I rushed to Eddie's sleeping quarters and embraced him. He was sobbing uncontrollably and really frightened. I was secretly experiencing a panic attack because I felt so frightened and constrained. I attempted rocking Eddie back to sleep after the egging ceased after 15 long minutes since I was immobile. I placed Eddie on my bed and lay awake with him after he fell asleep. When Auntie arrived to meet me the following morning, she was in a complete panic. She wanted me to live with them in their home, but I informed her that it wouldn't make a difference because their house will be egged the next time. Although I believe my hypothesis that Dylan had followed me was correct, we are unable to bring a direct case against him because the law does not allow for speculation. We have accused unidentified individuals of vandalism. As I write this, Uncle is installing cameras and a new security system. Next week is when we have our court hearing. I'll keep you all informed. Update 4. I'm exhausted. This will only be a brief update. All I want is for the hearing to end. At this point, the drama is becoming excessive. Dylan attempted to break into the house last night. The security system alerted 911 right away, and he was apprehended. He had a black balaclava on. The police took him away. Upon questioning, it was discovered that they intended to abduct Eddie. Then, custody would go to Robert, and I might be seen as a negligent mother. However, the entire game was altered by the fact that he was captured. They have absolutely no chance of winning now, and more significantly, some of them will be going to jail. Update 5. The kidnapping was rejected by Robert's family. Yes, I'm not at all surprised. Dylan was completely enamored with Sarah, but she has since left him. My uncle told me that no one ever paid Dylan a visit while he was in detention. Uncle gave Robert a lot of attention throughout our court session today. It appears that things will work out for us. Robert rushed up to me and held my hand as I was leaving after the hearing. He wanted me to move back with him and our children after admitting his sins. I was on the verge of giving in, but then I recalled all the times I had done so, and everything had simply returned to normal. I asked him to do his foolish stunts on someone else after taking my hand away from his. I told him that he needed to mature and that it was unrealistic to expect a man who didn't act like an adult to raise a child. It is unheard of for a child to raise another child, is it not? The microphone drops. Before he could say anything further, I hopped into Uncle's car and drove off. I gave myself a mental fist pump in anticipation of this incredible return. LOL. How do you all feel about my return? Wish me luck at the upcoming hearing as well. Can you guess who received Eddie's custody and the majority of the child support? Selena, your girl, is the one. Robert was granted visiting rights, that's all. I'm not going to appeal since I don't think it will be pleasant to deny my child his father. I don't want Eddie to grow up and blame my egotistical drive to win for his dad's unfamiliar appearance, even though I am positive that we would win if I did. This is exactly what I told Robert, but I added a caveat. He must never take Eddie to see his sister and grandma. I won't think twice about removing his visiting privileges if I discover anything suspicious happening behind my back. In addition to my usual career, I have secured a highly lucrative freelance position. Additionally, I am establishing a blog for new single mothers, which is becoming very popular. I already have some sponsors. I invite you to see my blog as well. I can't express how thrilled I am to be a new mother. Right now, motherhood is going nicely for me. Being Eddie's mother makes me happy. In addition, my mother has returned. She finally believes that I made the correct decision in leaving that marriage after the abduction attempt. She thanked Uncle and Auntie excessively and apologized to me. She cried as she saw her grandchild for the first time. She cursed Dylan while cradling Eddie. She expressed her disbelief that someone would genuinely attempt to harm a child in such a terrible way. For a youngster, nothing hurts more than being taken away from its mother. I wholeheartedly concur. Dylan is still on trial. Uncle claims that he will undoubtedly go to jail given the evidence against him. Sarah, meantime, is already married to a wealthy elderly man she met at a party. It seems that after just 1 week of dating, they are getting married. A friend of mine who lives close to Robert's residence is providing me with updates on their family. All the tea is going to your daughter. LOL. Oh, and I had requested that Robert vacate our home. Come on, it was a present from my family, therefore it's only right that he moves out. This week, he moved out, therefore I'm going back to my former residence. I can't even begin to express how grateful I am to the Singh family. For 2 months, I remained with them at no cost. They refused to accept my attempt to pay them rent. They only collected a month's rent in the end, claiming that this was my uncle's fee for defending me and that they would not want any more money from me. Update 6. I apologize for not responding to you all sooner. God, being a mother is a full-time job. I know, it's been 6 months. I'm grateful for my mother and aunt. When I leave for work, they alternately watch Eddie. These 2 ladies have been a huge assistance. After returning home and enjoying some delicious and nourishing meals, I play with Eddie till he falls asleep. Every weekend, my uncle comes to visit us, and I also got to meet his daughter, who recently moved here from Germany. She is as kind as her parents, and she spent a week with us. I asked her to be my son's godmother just before she left for Germany. She sobbed uncontrollably and gave Eddie and me hugs. Eddie's godfather is my cousin, who gave the house as a gift. He wasn't shocked when I told him what had happened over the past 6 months. He claimed that he had reservations and constantly felt immature around Robert. He apologized for not being able to support me during that time because I was unable to contact him because he was out of the country. It wouldn't have helped even if I had succeeded in doing it. Eddie has experienced a lot of firsts in the last few months. After learning to roll over, he attempted to crawl. He spoke his first word as well. He really enjoys his bumblebee soft toy, but my mom says it's simply a random sound he made. Every month, Robert continues to provide new items. It felt incredibly weird when he came to visit us last week. The fact that the man I loved so deeply is now a stranger also kind of hurts me. But that's life, I suppose. Even though bad things happen, one must remain optimistic. I let Robert play with Eddie by himself. It was a smart move because I could do a lot of work while Robert took care of the infant. Robert had put baby Eddie to sleep before I finished all of my job. He appeared incredibly small and frail as he lay on Robert's breast. Robert was partly sleeping, and the thought of what might have happened made me very sad. According to my therapist, it's normal to feel this way and not feel bad about being sad for Robert. After gathering myself, I took a photo of the father and son. I framed that photo and gave it to Robert as a birthday present. After giving it a thorough examination, he thanked me. Being a father has, in my opinion, caused him to undergo a major transformation. I really hate my stepmother, and I don't know how to tell my dad about it without causing a big issue. I'm feeling very stuck right now. Hey, this might be a long one. I'm sorry. It is too long. I didn't read at the bottom. I really don't know what to do about my situation and I don't have anyone close to give me advice, so I thought here I can maybe get some advice. I have an amazing dad who raised me since my mom passed away when I was 5 years old. He is my friend, my supporter and someone who I want to be like when I grow up. When my dad first introduced my stepmom to me I was 10 years old, and she was very nice to me and he looked so happy that we met and hoped we could get along. They got married when I was 13 and I was so happy that my dad and I had a new member in our family. I thought me and stepmother were getting along until I think a few months after their honeymoon she told me one morning that we just need to pretend to like each around my dad, but when he is not here that I shouldn't bother her. Honestly, this shattered me, but I agreed cause I didn't know what else to do. After that day, whenever it was just me and stepmother, she would say things to get to me, and I would just not say anything. I'm introverted and don't like confrontation, so I just took it and thought over time she would get over it, but it got worse. She would talk about my height and weight and say I was a funny-looking version of my dad. I hoped my dad would notice, but he didn't. He actually thinks me and stepmother are so close and she understands me. He looks so happy with her that maybe it's worth not saying anything and giving it time. This year my stepmother has started picking on me around my dad and he has either joined in or ignored it. I have voiced that what she says makes me uncomfortable and hurts, but my dad says she is teasing and doesn't mean it to hurt me. Well, right now, I'm at my ends and I'm scared, I'm angry, frustrated at my stepmother and my dad. Dad was away for work and it was just me and stepmother at home. She had a party at home with a couple of her friends. I helped set the house up and cook dinner cause dad asked me to help out, which was fine. After they ate and just hung out, they were hanging out on the porch when I heard stepmother and her friends talking very loudly outside my window while I was in my room. Stepmother friends talked about how lucky stepmother was to have a nice husband and a house. When they mentioned how nice it was that I cooked for them, stepmother told them that I was annoying and weird and she hated me and living with me and couldn't wait till I was 18 to kick me out. I was shocked that she hated me that much, but I didn't know why. TBH. I thought we were tolerating each other, but to hate me I must have done something, but I can't think of what I did. I've been kinda down since that day, which was 2 weeks ago, and I thought I was past the initial feelings, but at rugby training today I bursted into tears and my coach sent me home, so I drove to a beach and cried. I feel so much I honestly can't describe my emotions. I eventually fell asleep in my car. Now I'm here hoping I can get advice on how to talk to my dad about it, 'cause I'm scared about how he will react. I don't want my dad to be sad 'cause he does so much for me, but I'm not strong like him. I'm really struggling. My question is, how can I approach this conversation with my dad about my stepmother hating me? Or should I tell him at all? Too long. Didn't read. I heard my stepmother tell her friends she hates me, and I want to tell my dad about it but don't know how. Edit. Someone questioned my dad's age, and I'm sorry. But it was supposed to be 42, but I can't change it. Sorry. Thank you everyone that provided advice and kind words. It means a lot to me. I have read every comment and have an idea on how to approach this situation. I'm honestly terrified of the outcome being negative, but the encouragement and support are making this a bit easier to deal with. I am going to talk to my dad on Sunday and show him this post. I hope it goes well and I hope all of you stay safe and take care. Edit 2. I'm not sure what I am able to do what I planned, 'cause Amy just took my car keys away and she wants my phone, but I won't give it to her, so she is waiting for my dad to take it off me because apparently I'm doing drugs, but I told her I'm not. I've been at the beach. I'm not sure, but I just want it to stop 'cause I can't handle it. I'm sorry. Update 1. Okay. So my post was locked, but hopefully it's okay now. I've posted the link and tried my best with spacing. I'm on mobile. If I can't post it, I give up. For all the support and advice received, I really appreciate and wholeheartedly so grateful for all who DM me to see how I was. Thank you. This will be long because a lot has happened, but many things are still not resolved. Trigger warning. I will mention self-harm, so please, if it might trigger you, please don't read further. I wish I was able to say I followed the advice that was provided, and now everything is better, but some things in life don't play the way we want it to, and we can either let it destroy us, or make us better. After writing my edit where my stepmother was taking my things away and assuming I was on drugs, I started recording on my phone and she said a lot through the door, many things about my mom and me, and just plain hateful words that I don't want to repeat on here. I fell asleep while I was barricading the door with my body when my dad demanded that I open the door. At this point, I don't remember much of what happened, but my stepmother told me I had to leave the house, and my dad agreed. I didn't know who to call, but I decided to call my coach and he picked me up, and I was a crying mess. He didn't ask any questions but just told me that I was safe and if I needed to talk he was here for me. I stayed over one night when Dad picked me up. Stepmother was not at home when we got there. Dad told me we needed to talk. We had breakfast and my dad spoke to me about many things my stepmother told him, and I couldn't believe all the lies she told him. It was a long talk, but in summary it was my use of drugs and alcohol. How I disrespect her in our home. I don't do my responsibilities like chores at home. I'm nasty to her when Dad is not around. He asked me why I was acting like this, and if I had a problem with my stepmother I should have spoken to him. I let him talk, and when he was crying and asked if I had anything to say, I was so lost for words. I knew whatever I said my dad was on my stepmother's side. So I told him I wanted him to watch the recording of the incident that I can send through as an email attachment and the link to my Reddit post, and then we can talk more. I also said I didn't want to be here when he was reading and watching, so I'll go for a drive and he can text me when he's done and ready to talk. He was hesitant at first, but I told him it was important to me, so he agreed, and I left in my car to the beach and sent the email with the video attached and the link to my Reddit post. I don't know how long I waited, but many thoughts were going through my head. I was missing my mom so much, and what if my dad still sided with my stepmother? What can I do now? I fell asleep at the beach spot and was woken up by a police officer knocking on my car door and asking for my name. After confirming my name, he advised me to get out my car and to hand over my keys to him and to follow him to his car. He handcuffed me and assured me that I wasn't in trouble. But this was a welfare check because someone made a call that I was possibly suicidal. I didn't talk after he told me that, and all I remember was just crying. He made me sit in the back of the police car until the ambulance came and they took me to the hospital. I was asked many questions and was evaluated and was told I was depressed and may have extreme anxiety. The physician did say I might have other things but will require further testing and some sessions with a psychiatrist. My dad came and visited me while in hospital, and when I saw him he looked really tired. When he spoke it sounded like he was crying, and he told me he called the police on me because the video recording I did, he heard everything my stepmother said, but he also saw cuts on my thighs and was scared, and thought the worst. Honestly, I never watched the video, so I didn't know my thighs were visible. After our cry, we spoke about a few things. I told my dad that I don't feel comfortable living with stepmother after everything she said and done to me over the years, and I'm not sure I can handle being around her cause I don't trust her. We spoke about arrangements and knowing my dad still loves my stepmother and I didn't want him to choose between us. I told him that I could talk to Coach if I could stay with him, and after calling him he agreed. I've also been admitted to an agency that will support me cause I am mentally unwell. I have been to one session and waiting on another evaluation to be done on me and some testings with my general practitioner so they can diagnose me. I'm currently staying with my rugby coach who has been an amazing pillar. He has set out some house rules but I respect the fella and don't mind following them. My coach even set a date next week for me and dad to catch up on. My coach is an awesome dude. I thought of him as just a coach who just wanted our rugby team to win, but when he allowed me to stay over, he showed so much care for me. And I saw a side to him and understand how much he cares for my team. He has a lovely wife but I'm kinda anxious whenever it's just me and her at their house. That's it right now. My dad lives at home with my stepmother and is trying to sort that out. I have many appointments to get the help I need and a lot of schoolwork to catch up on and rugby training to attend. I've taken a leave of absence from my Macca's job. I'm gonna miss going to the beach for a while but I understand that it's not a forever thing so I hope that the next time I go there I'm not crying my eyes out. I'm kinda working on being okay if my dad and stepmother after those of you who shared your similar experiences, someday I'll be okay. Thank you to all who advised me and encouraged me. Those who reached out through direct message, thank you for the kind words and reaching out. I'm not sure if I'll update again, but maybe I'll let you know if something happens in the future. Take care everyone, also be kind to one another and most of all be kind to yourself, cause you deserve it. Too long. Didn't read. I showed my dad my Reddit post and recording of my stepmother being verbally abusive and now I'm staying at my coach's house trying to sort out my mental health update too. Hope everyone has been doing well. I wasn't going to update at all but many who reached out shared their stories and kind words. It truly helped me. I wish I was able to reply but so many things were happening and I'm sorry. This will be a long one but it's because this will be the last time I hope. In my last post my coach sorted out time for me and my dad to catch up weekly. I've met up with my dad twice and this is how it went. First catch up at the beach. We spoke and I told him a lot about what happened between me and his wife. I mentioned how she would treated me when he wasn't there, what she spoke to me after they got married and how she was awful to live with. I told him how I dealt with it for his sake cause I wanted him to be happy. I mentioned to him that I spoke with the coach about staying there until I go to university, and then I'll move away cause I cannot live with his wife anymore cause I'm not sure what I'll do. I'm never gonna try and get along with her anymore. He listened and was crying and asked if I would ever get over this. I told him no and I never wanted to see his wife and walked off cause I was pissed off at what he said and drove back to the coach's house. He messaged me later. I acted like a kid, and I responded, cause I am a kid. Second catch up dinner at the coach's house. Second catch up. My coach invited my dad to have dinner and hang with me. My coach has a pool table in his man cave and a pool. I was excited to hang and catch up with my dad even after our last meetup cause I was feeling a bit better. But at the same time I was feeling anxious about the meetup like I had a bad gut feeling. But I ignored it. Dinner went great, and me, dad and coach had fun playing pool. Later on that night the coach gave us space to talk. Dad talked about my mom and me as a kid. Just things he would tell me when I was a kid, and it was just me and him. It was fun. And I really enjoyed our time together. When it was time to go home I offered to drop him off since he drank, but he said his wife was here to pick him up so I hugged him and he went. I kinda stayed in the garage and waited for her to leave so I could walk in the house, but I heard her say, "How's the little shit?" And I bolted out the door and told her to fuck off. Boy was I not ready for the slap my dad gave me but all I remember was swinging a punch at him and knocking him down and my coach pulling me off my dad. My coach told my dad and his wife to leave. After they left I told my coach I never wanted to see him again and texted my dad we were done. It doesn't end there. Last week I planned to not go to school on Friday and go for a drive up the line with a few teammates to just get away from everything. They ended up bailing, so I went by myself. I ended up driving to a lake and parking up and just chilling for the school day and just driving back home later on. When I got home at my coach's house I saw my dad's car parked in the driveway and thought I would have to square up with my dad. When I parked up my dad ran out the house and looked like shit. He looked like he cried for days and he started hitting my car screaming to get out the car and tell him where I was the whole day. I thought he was mad that I wagged school so he ripped the door open and hugged me so hard and cried. I had no idea what was happening or what he was saying, but all I could understand was, "I'm sorry, and I love you." After what felt like forever he kinda calmed me down and I asked him why he was here. And then he told me there was an accident with a kid getting hit by a train. And it clicked, my dad thought it was me. He said when he heard the news he called the school and they said I was a no-show and called everyone he could think of. My mates said I went for a drive somewhere but didn't know where, and my dad said he lost it. He calmed down eventually and said he would divorce his wife if I wanted him to. But I told him he needed to choose that for himself. 'Cause the reason I stayed quiet was to make him happy. If he is unhappy, to make a choice for himself. 'Cause I don't want to be the reason he is unhappy, and that now I have to look after myself, and that is getting away from her. And he cried and just said, more sorries. He ended up sleeping over in the same room as me that night and the night after, 'cause I think he was scared, and just trying to deal. I was okay with it and coached allowed it. He left after the weekend to sort himself out back at his home. I told him that where I am is good for me, and to not worry, and that I'll turn off Do Not Disturb on my phone so I could see texts. That's pretty much it really. I don't know what my dad is going to decide to do with his wife, but I am definitely not ever going to associate with her. Ever in the foreseeable future. I love my dad too much to stop seeing him, but he knows my boundaries since I've set them out clear as day, and he knows as much as I love him. I will cut him off if I feel like it's not for me. I'm moving past what happened between me and my dad's wife for me, 'cause I'm tired of letting her beat me in my mind, so I just gotta work on myself. I'm currently happy staying with my coach and his wife. They have been amazing and have shown me so much love. They have awesome kids who I have met and they have invited me to their family Christmas. I feel bad that I feel anxious when I'm around the coach's wife, but I'm working on it with my therapist and I have a good support system. I know I want to go to university but not sure if I want to study commerce or law, but I know I am on track with my studies. I just can't afford to skip school anymore. Thank you to everyone who sent messages of support and reached out to share your experiences. Y'all gave me the strength to believe I could get out of this mess and be okay. And if you ever feel down, that there is help out there for you no matter where you are in life. I'm glad I shared on Reddit, 'cause I've learned so much about me and many things I won't forget and teach to my kids. Now I gotta go school. Take care and cheers. OP posted in Mom for a Minute on Sept 27/22 about turning 18. Can't repost from this sub. I hate that my current reality is that I don't have people I can rely on right now in my life. I am trying to do the best to survive and better my current situation. I've had so much happen to me this year and I feel like I can't afford to take time for myself, to catch a break, or else I'll lose what I currently have, which is not much. I know I'm young and have so much to look forward to, but it's hard. Like so hard to want to carry on when so much shit is going wrong. I'm trying to find a place to stay even in a flatmate situation to be more independent, but I can barely afford anything. My job offered me a better paying position at the expense of a full-time job, and even though I would love more money, that means I will have to give up my dream to go university. I know many people have had worse situations and honestly, I don't know how they found the will and help they got. It really feels like the world just hates me and I know I'm feeling sorry for myself, but I honestly giving up hope. What can I get the family I'm staying with for Christmas? I, 18 m, feel indifferent about catching up with my dad, 42 male. I, 18 male, have a strained relationship with my dad, 42 male. A lot has happened this year between us and it really ruined our relationship. He was my best friend. Would be there for my rugby matches and push me to do my best. Earlier this year I had a fallout with my stepmom and my dad which caused me to move out of my home and in with my coach, 37 mem, who I call uncle. I have been here ever since. We did try to mend our relationship but harsh words were exchanged and I stopped reaching out and focused on passing my exams. I have worked hard on myself by working at my job and helping out at the place I'm staying. I have made some sort of peace about my situation and focused on my future. Now my dad reached out last night to meet up with him to hang and we planned it for next year on the 4th of Jan. I agreed, and that was that. My uncle talked to me about what me and my dad spoke about. He was kinda worried about my feelings about meeting my dad because of my feelings towards the day. I explained the best I could, is that I just feel indifferent about my dad right now. I am not excited or scared about this meeting, I just see it as a date I'll be seeing him and that's it. Whether we meet up or not, I'm not bothered by it at all. My uncle and his wife care a lot and have done so much for me, so I care about what they say. They think I should have a reason to meet up with him since I haven't spoken to him in a while and worried I could get hurt. Should I have a different mindset towards catching up with my dad? Too long, didn't read. Dad planned to catch up next year for me and him. We had a fallout, so my uncle thinks that I should be feeling something but I feel indifferent. A commenter asks how it went. Okay, this reply took a while because I wasn't ready to share, but I'm okay for now. My dad turned up with stepmother and told me that they were having a kid. I congratulated them and we spent time talking about my future and dad telling me he can pay for my university studies as long as I keep my grades up. We spoke about a lot and then we said our goodbyes, and I left. I wasn't able to drive home because I started crying and had to call my uncle to come pick me up. It's been a few weeks since the meeting and now I'm not sure about my feelings about everything but focusing on getting ready for uni, so I'm working a lot more. My uncle and I are planning to go check out his other house that was affected by floods, so that's something to look forward to because I need a change of scenery. Thanks for checking on me, it means a lot. You'll do well, OP. Go out there and be successful for yourself. Your uncle and wife are really a gem. That's a couple you need to return the favor or love one day. So have you decided what major you will do in uni? OP. Most definitely. They are honestly the best support I have and I am forever grateful to them both for sharing their home, family and love. Sometimes I wonder why they do it and they always remind me it's because they care and love me, which means a lot. For uni I am going for a bachelor's in commerce, majoring in commercial law and accounting. Very excited about it and looking forward to it. It will take some years but that's okay for me right now. The father is not leaving the stepmom and OP is working to move forward. I'm flaring this concluded.